Either way, none would have been good for the president or the presidency. In that case, I say, and I'm sure the Presidential Advisory Committee is happy that the man's name has been resubmitted for confirmation. And I do hope that it will be confirmed, because as far as we know, this man has tried to show commitment, to show diligence. And in fact, I had a rumor, if I may say this, even though we should not carry rumor, that at a point in time, the man did lock up his own father-in-law for fraud for about 6 months until the matter was settled legally or settled justifiably.
Okay, Prof.
Justice was achieved.
Just
so
even
that may be a rumor, but
okay.
in the case, the kind of character the man is supposed to be.
Okay.
Now, excuse me.
Okay.
There is no saint. I'm not saying he's a saint, but I'm saying with what we have and what he has done, I think the man should be given a chance to continue the fight against corruption.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Let's come to Lagos studio now, Prof. We'll come back to you in a moment. Mr. Ken Okolugbo has since joined us as a political analyst. Many thanks for coming on the program.
It's always my pleasure.
Let's begin with the controversy over the grass cutting scandal. A lot of people believe that, well, the Senate may not have done due diligence considering the fact that they say it's an interim report. But some other people are of the opinion that, look, if that report had come up in other crimes, the SGF should have stepped aside. What do you make of the president's letter and the ongoings, considering the fact that Senator Shehu Sani said the content of that letter is all but a lie?
Well, Shehu, it's very sad because, I mean, I've been one person that spoke very passionately against the Dasuki Gate scandal, and I said anybody found culpable should make sure it's not only prosecuted, but prosecuted diligently. Now, the sad aspect of it is that the president's letter, first of all, was hasty. And it was very obvious. I believe the president never vetted that letter. Because if he did vet that letter was the mindset of the Attorney General of this federation, Malabi. Why do I say this? First, they said 3 senators signed the report. Malami accused the Senate of not giving the SGF fair hearing. And in the same vein, he did not give the Senate fair hearing because Senator Shehu Sani, the chairman of the Senate committee, should have been invited in the course of Malami's investigation to find out how many people signed that report out of the 9 people that were members of that committee. And it has since been confirmed that 7 people signed that report. The likes of Ben Bruce Murray, the likes of Adelade and others, and Olujimi and all the others said the reports were signed by them. Now, that first of all debunks the letter of the president and puts a very big lie to that letter, where he said one of the reasons he finds it very difficult to act on the report is because it was a minority report, since only 3 out of the 9 committee members signed. And besides, 3 is even a quorum out of 9. But now it has been established that 7 people signed. But you see, what bothers my mind here, Shenwu, is that why I'm very sad here is, haven't been a public official. When you carry out projects, you carry out projects that can impact on the people. Babachi Lawal clearly said that when he wanted to take over the PINE, which is the presidential initiative on the Northeast, he made inquiries from the vice president's office, and the vice president said it was under the NSA, the former NSA. And there was a senior special assistant who was working with the NSA, Dasuki, who was in charge of the PINE. And what bothered him most was that most of those contracts were being used for consultancy, and that what he met was 2.5 billion naira. Now, it's a shame that he can even say that he resigned from Roller Vision. The fact that Roller Vision is associated with him already indicts him. We have been public officials. When you play Lotto, they even tell you that friends, family, and relations should never take part in the Lotto. Why do they say that? They say that because you are driving the Lotto will become compromised.
But he has resigned. He said he has resigned.
Even if he has resigned, the fact that Roller Vision is owned by him is his own.
No, but he has resigned.
Why would Roller... Okay, look at where I'm coming from here. On the 29th of March, it was established that Josmo Technologies, which was awarded a contract, paid him 50 million in 5 installments.
Okay, just for a moment, Mr. Chairman, because we need to take a very important break. But when we return, Professor Femi Odekunle is all the committee on presidential committee on anti-corruption, and Mr. Okolugbo will be talking more on this very matter when we return. Join us again. Many thanks for staying with us, everyone. Wherever you're watching, this is Sunday Politics on Channels Television. The Buhari anti-corruption war has been on our lips. Professor Femi Odekunle, member of the Presidential Committee Against Corruption, and Mr. Ken Okolugbo has been talking to us. Many thanks, gentlemen, for staying with us on the program. Mr. Okolugbo, you were talking about that scandal.
Yes.
But the SGF said he's resigned that...
Even if he had resigned from Ruler
on the
Vision,
board,
the fact that he had been associated,
taking up on
100%,
association
he has compromised. When you take the oath of office, yes, he's compromised his office. Oh, my brother
what
here,
would you advise?
My brother here is 200 million has been established to have been paid from Josmo Technologies that had the contract to Ruler Vision. So was the contract done at all at 230 million? What was used for the contract? If 200 million was sent on the 29th, on the 31st, on the 30th, on the 1st of April, 50 million first, 50 million again. I mean, why would the president not look at the merits of the case? Why would he look at
the man?
One of the things that bothers us here
is that
Buhari's mantra is anti-corruption. And the only product Buhari has to sell now, because the economy is in shambles, is his integrity, which has still not been tainted. So the fact that his integrity has still not been tainted, why is he making Babachi Lawal a sacred cow? He looks like his animal farm. Some more animals are more important than the other.
He does when the man
suspend him immediately.
Because the law of Nigeria says a man is not guilty.
How would he sit? I didn't say sack him, suspend him immediately. How would Babachi Lawal sit on the same Federal Executive Council with Malami? And I expect Malami to bring an unbiased report.
And I ask you, if there is a petition on every person in the cabinet of President Muhammadu Buhari, it should suspend all of that.
That is very weighty because of the evidence the senators presented. Don't forget that Shehu Sani is from the CPC. He's from the old bloc. Balami is CPC. Babachi Lawal is CPC. And these are all his boys. So if Shehu Sani was maybe from one of the PDP people that entered APC, you can say maybe there were issues that he was trying to run him down. The fact is that the evidences that Shehu Sani has presented is very weighty. And I'll tell you something.
In an interim report.
Tell you something.
In an interim report. Why shouldn't we just wait for a moment when the full report comes out?
That was why I was surprised the president replied the interim report. He should have waited for the final report.
That's why a lot of people will say that he shouldn't be suspending someone on an interim report.
When the evidence is so weighty, he was, okay, look at Wiz Banire. Wiz Banire, I mean, I have so much respect for him, I don't know him. Wiz Banire was not even indicted. Wiz Banire was only adjudged to have paid 500,000 naira to a judge that he said he not even have a case before. Wiz Banire wrote a letter of resignation.
The former APC legal advisor.
He was not the former, it was rejected. It was rejected, but he at least wrote a letter of resignation. He who comes with equity must come with clean hands.
Sarah has said that the president should refer the case to EFCC and ICPC.
That is what he should do, yes, because I will say something about this case here. This case must be referred to EFCC. One person I must say that I have so much confidence in is Ibrahim Magu. No matter what has been said about Ibrahim Magu, on a personal note, I've known Ibrahim Magu before now, and without even knowing that I've seen him since he's become the EFCC boss. One thing I know Magu must stand for is that Magu stands for the truth. If this case is referred to Ibrahim Magu, I know there will be a lot on his shoulders, but we'll get to know more about it.
Let's quickly round up with Professor Femi Odekunle now. Prof, you heard what Mr. Okolugbo has said right here, right now, about the position of the SGF. Do you think that it's imperative for the president to ask Mr. Babachi Lawal to step aside for a moment?
Even though the Presidential Advisory Committee, because we don't miss every day, we have not had a sitting since this thing broke, but I've been on another medium in which I pointed out that in a reasonable country, I repeat, in a reasonable country, the president should have asked Babachi Lawal to step aside, or Babachi Lawal himself should have either resigned or step aside. So I have no disagreement with with my colleague who is with you there in Lagos, and I'm happy that he shares my view and the view of the PACAC about Magu. But in terms of the SGF, it is a dent, as far as I'm concerned, on our anti-corruption fight, on the struggle of the Presidential Advisory Committee to actually do what is good, to forge ahead with the administration anti-corruption position. So as far as I'm concerned, the presidency does not seem to put the right foot forward on this matter of the SGF. The least that should have been done was to have asked the man to step aside pending investigation.
Professor Femi Odekunle, many thanks. Member of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, and Mr. Ken Okulubo. Many thanks.
It's always my pleasure.
Thank you so much. And that's our program today. I hope that you enjoyed every bit of it. On behalf of the team right here in China's television headquarters, I'm Sean Wakimale. Bye for now.